We're going to talk Saints. And here's the thing, the guys that stood out to me, first and foremost, I got to talk about their punt kicker. He was able to pin the Seattle Seahawks deep. And when you flip the field, a lot of things can go your way. Believe it or not, a lot of things went their way. The main component last game, New Orleans Saints versus Seattle Seahawks, was the weather. Believe it or not, it's better to be prepared for an opportunity and not have one than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. I'm thinking that Sean Payton outperformed Coach Pete Carroll. That's just the bottom line of it. When you look at everything, his players were ready. They were able to have the right sizing of the cleat size, what have you, and it wasn't slipping all over the field. And on top of that, the New Orleans Saints were able to stop the run and approach or the running attack for the Seattle Seahawks. You see, the Seattle Seahawks like to win via the pass option or really pretty much like this, basically. They like to do a lot of play actions, and they got to establish the run first. They already run first team, believe it or not. There's probably number one rushing last year or something of those natures. They love to run the ball. They love to set up things for the play action pass, and they were not able to do that. Now, if you look at the New Orleans Saints, they like to play a lot of man. They got the guys playing up press, cover. They got the guys that's playing up tight, and Russell was able to gash him off of that. You know, he was able to catch him while their back was turned, and he was able to run the rock. He had like 2 touchdowns running the rock, believe it or not. And he had a couple big runs. And one of the runs that they was able to get with their running back, regardless of Carson was sliding all over the field, you thought that he was Iceman or somebody. And Apple was able to punch the ball out. Shout out to the Eli Apple, right? He made a play. And Bell, the guy Von Bell, was able to pick the ball up and put the money on the board. Here's another guy that everybody got to be mindful of. He wears number 11 for the New Orleans Saints. He's a kickoff return or punt return specialist. He can flip the field, give you half of the field to work with. And it's always good for the offense, especially Teddy Bridgewater. He wasn't throwing the rock down the field, for crying out loud. He knew to have everything close and uptight to his vest. So he wasn't taking big chances down the field at all. So I'm looking at it like this. This guy named Kamara, number 41 for the Saints, you're not going to stop him. You can only slow him down because he's like, you about to tackle him and he finds a way to get slippery, get small, and squirt out, you see. So he's fantastic in a sense. It's going to be different from last year because I believe that, you know, he was rotating in and out of the formation. Now you're going to look at him being the primary running back. And they got another guy, Latavius Murray. Like I said, I got a chance to watch the Saints game versus Seattle about 2 times. And the thing that really jumped out to me were the fact that how they played defense. They flew out to the ball. It wasn't the greatest defense performance that I've ever seen, but they was able to take advantages of the situation with their punt kicker. Pinning the opposition deep is something special. Playing on a wet field. Their running backs, for, like I said, I'm going to say it again, for the Seattle Seahawks, they were not able to establish the run. Forces Russell Wilson to throw the ball. And he looked like a little midget out there trying to force the ball down the field without the play action. It was horrible for him. I don't think that he could throw a wet ball good because most of the throws were kind of like really off target. And believe it or not, they made a rush towards the end or push towards the end to try to get the game in a respective mode. I'm thinking that really, if you look at the game collectively, you would say, if you're a Seattle Seahawks fan, you would say, man, we could have beat them, you know, but we shot ourselves in the foot if you are a Seattle Seahawks fan. But if you are a pie-in-the-sky Saints fan, you would say, well, our defense dominated. But if you look at the game without those visions there, you will see that the field conditioning played a lot. The crowd factor was not even there for the Seattle Seahawks, but they was loud at times. And I believe that Pete Carroll, he was pressing a lot. They started going for 4th downs, 4th and 1, and something like that. They couldn't get those conversions over. And you saw that the New Orleans Saints had a short field. And granted, you give Kamara a short field, he's going to take advantages of the situation. I think that Michael Thomas, he did a great job of the 50-50 balls, catching the contested catches out there. But to me personally, I just think that the Seattle Seahawks just wasn't prepared. They tried to get Carson like to change out his cleats. He changed out his cleats. He was still falling and slipping and sliding all over the place. Now, like I said again, their punt kicker, he should have been the MVP for last game. But they do have problems and issues covering in the middle of the field. And let's talk about their front. Cameron Jordan, he's still a dog out there. He's a beast. Marcus Davenport, he's still learning. He's still raw in certain factors. But when he comes into the game, and Sheldon Rankins and all those boys, once he's lined up, paired up with those guys, you see a little spark from that team, you see. And what that front four does is it help out the Alex kid. It helps out the DeMario guy as well. So that linebacker core is able to fly out to the ball without worrying about getting caught up in space and things like that. If you keep their, shirts and jerseys clean, then you can see a little something with that. Now, you guys heard me enough praising the Saints and dogging the Seattle because they wasn't prepared. And I just think that Sean Payton is a better coach than Pete Carroll as it relates to X's and O's and preparation. He was just more prepared. But I must say this team, the Dallas Cowboys matching up with the New Orleans Saints. Here's what you should do, Cowboys. Establish the run, work on the play action, and kill them when they get in man-to-man defense, because they're going to have their back turns to Dak Prescott, and Dak Prescott can run the rock just like Russell Wilson was able to do. And I think Dak Prescott is a whole lot bigger than Russell. But and of course the element is going to be a whole lot favorable to both teams, because you don't have to worry about the rain, the wet field, and things like that. And I think that the Saints are a dome team, and I think that the Dallas Cowboys are a dome team. So you're going to see these guys flying out to the ball. They're going to be doing all of that good stuff because they playing inside in perfect conditions, right? So I'm thinking that Saints, they didn't face an Ezekiel and Elliott, right? They didn't face a Tony Pollard that can catch the ball out of the backfield and continue to pound and pound. Because I was able to see this last game, and for Saints fans, who if you guys so happen to watch this video, I saw CJ Prosise, or however you say that man's name, catch the ball out of the backfield. He did a wheel route, and he murdered one of your linebackers slash safeties out there. Well, the Cowboys got a whole bunch of weapons, and they don't have to worry about depending on a CJ Prosise or a Carson. They got a guy named Jameis Olawale, who's a fullback and can catch the ball out of the backfield. I'm hearing that Tavon Austin, he's going to be a little bit more healthier. He may start this weekend. So there's a lot of things that the Saints have to worry about. Now, as far as the New Orleans Saints, continue with Morstead punting the ball, pinning the Cowboys deep, creating pressure, maybe up the middle, because Sheldon Rankins and those boys is nothing to sleep at. If you can collapse the pocket in the inside, maybe you can give Dak Prescott some fits. But that's why I say you got the running game with the Cowboys, second to none. So it's going to be a good game regardless. It may start off slow. And from there, it's just going to be like matchups for there. And I'm thinking that the Cowboys can still come out victorious if they don't turn the ball over, because you guys do have a guy that likes to jump on routes. His name is Marshawn Lattimore. He's not a shutdown corner, but he is a very, very, very aggressive corner. And he will take advantages of the situation. I think that Eli Apple has improved since he went to Saints land, but he's still Eli. And I'm not even going to go into details. You all that's followed the Saints real closely know why, what I'm talking about. But I will say this. The game should be great. And I'm thinking that regardless, I'm hearing that Amari Cooper had to get an MRI done and these sorts of things. He limped off the field today. So he may be limpy heading into this game. Who knows? But they got an extra time to prepare themselves because it's a Sunday night game. I think that Randall Cobb, he's still going to eat, because I saw last week when you guys played against the Seattle Seahawks, the tiny receivers was able to get open. You see, Brown on their team and Lockett, he was able to get and sneak into the zones and get into the backfield. And Lockett is a bad receiver. Don't get it twisted. He's a bad receiver, bad in a good way. But I'm thinking that the Cowboys got more firepower. And I think the Cowboys can utilize Old Reliable as well, a little bit more than what you guys saw last week with Van Nat or whoever that guy's name is. So it's going to be a battle. It's going to be a good game altogether collectively. Should be. And I'm thinking that Jason Garrett, he knows what Sean Payton is trying to do, and Sean Payton knows what Jason Garrett is trying to do, because we play each other every other year anyway, right? So, and then we just recently played them. And I'm thinking that this right here too, the offensive line for the New Orleans Saints, it's still gimpy a little bit. So you should see number 58 flying out to the ball, bending, getting around to the edge, as well as D-Law. And then you guys got to worry about the interior. Number 96, Malik, and number 95 if he's out there. So it's going to be a dog-eat-dog world. And I'm thinking that the linebacking core for the Dallas Cowboys, LVE and Jalen Smith, it's time for them to step it up as well. So it's going to be great. Here's the thing. If I'm the New Orleans Saints, I'm trying to get Michael Thomas on the side of Cheeto Awuzie. As I'm looking at the Cheeto Awuzie film, I'm looking at the tape. Cheeto got the perfect size. He got the great tackling out in space, but his problem is he can't track the ball. He just loses the ball out in space, and I think he over-anticipate when the ball is in the air. So that's a good nugget for you all to understand there, but I do know it's going to be trying to be like a chess match. If you try to throw the ball 31's way, he's going to bat it out, swat it out. He just play a perfect sound technique. And the keys to the Cowboys game, when we make the Saints one-dimensional, if you can minus and take away the passing threat, or if you can minus and take away the running the threat, it's going to be a long night for you all. I want to know, Cowboy Nation, how you all feel about the Saints. I don't want to call it a trap game. I don't want to call it, hey, this is a prove-it game. Because when I look back at the Saints game, the offense didn't surprise me. Teddy Bridgewater was not throwing the ball all over the field. The defense, they had a short area of the field. The opposing running back was falling down everywhere because he didn't have the right cleat size. And it was just one of those things where if I'm the Cowboys, I'm not going to give number 11 an opportunity. He's a game changer for the Saints. He can flip the field, like I said, so I wouldn't really punt it directly towards him. I'm going to play keep away. So all this week, I'll be scouting, and I will be having my Tavon Austin to play and superpose himself as the number 11 kid for the New Orleans Saints. Now, like I said, for Kamara, I don't think that you can spy Jordan Lewis on Kamara all day long, because now he is a full-time running back, and Murray sometimes come in to give him a spell, but I didn't really see a lot of that. And, of course, you guys got Tyson Hill. I was able to see that they rotated him in and out of the mix as it relates to quarterback play and some wildcat stuff. I like that aspect of it, because that means that the quarterback is not in rhythm, you see. And I would take that any day. Quarterback being out of rhythm and out of sync. I just don't think rotating a quarterback is a good feel, a good flavor, a good vibe, a good anything. But I could be wrong, Those guys are making millions of dollars, but do whatever you want to do, Saints. I'm just saying. But collectively, this should be a good game. It's going to be a good game. And I just can't wait to see and face the Saints Sunday night. Prime time, everybody eyeballs will be glued to the screen, right? So let me know, Cowboy Nation and Saints Nation, if there's such a thing, of how you all feel about this upcoming game. Who will win? What's your prediction of scores? Those who follow my page already know my score prediction. I don't even have to say it. They could post it down in the chat box somewhere. But I want to know yours and your bold prediction and all those things. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Salute. I'm out. Peace.